Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Well, actually, I think I'm gonna start posting my Q&A videos on my vlog channel. So if you came from my main channel, welcome to my vlog channel. Click that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed here, because yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing my Q&As here. And I don't know, I've been posting some other stuff about my jaw surgery the last couple of months. I do some videos where I'm reading funny comments, and I don't know, I've done a house tour and just other random things that don't really fit per se on my main channel. But anyways, let's get straight into answering some of your questions. You guys left me a lot of them over on my community tab on my main channel. I feel like I'm making this more confusing. I have two channels. This is my vlog channel, that's my main channel. Yeah, so anyways. Okay, so I had a couple questions like this first one that were about cycling on and off low carb diets. Sarah asked, I have heard that you should cycle off keto every 3 months or so, such as eating paleo or a bit more carbs, as to not become intolerant to glucose. Can you elaborate on this a bit more? Okay, so the thing is, when you eat a low carb diet and you're burning mainly fat for any stretch of time, your body down-regulates the processes that process carbohydrates. So what will happen a lot of times is people will be really strict on keto. Then they'll go to their doctor and they'll do a glucose tolerance test, for example, and their blood sugar will spike through the roof, way higher than it maybe did even before keto, and they'll be so confused. But the thing is, it's because these processes have been downregulated, and all it takes is 1 or 2 days of eating slightly higher carbohydrates, and your body upregulates these processes once again. So if you're going to have a glucose tolerance test, eat slightly higher carb the day before, and your results are going to be drastically different than if you didn't eat higher carb the day before, if that makes sense. So to answer the question, do you need to cycle on and off of keto? I mean, it doesn't hurt. Well, we don't really have any studies of people eating a keto diet long term. Is it harmful to eat carbohydrates every once in a while? No, definitely not. But you can add a few more carbs here and there, target them around exercise, for example, have a cheat day every once in a while. Those things are totally fine. And I think if you kind of work having higher carb days into your routine and into maybe your like social schedule, this is a great approach. And I think that's kind of the best of both worlds. But yeah, eating low carb doesn't make you glucose intolerant. It just means your body isn't needing to process carbs, so it's down-regulating those mechanisms. John asked, Hi Kate, I quit chewing tobacco in 2018, so now I'm left with the urge to eat late at night. Any recommendations to break this habit? And I think I had a couple other comments about binge eating and cravings and whatnot, so this is the answer to all of those. I think what it really comes down to is that you've formed a habit of doing something enjoyable late at night, so you need a different habit to replace it. And I know this is particularly hard when that habit is food related, but trying to replace it with doing something else for yourself that you see as a reward, that's one good strategy. Now, if it really is a craving and you're having a hard time fighting it off, having a tablespoon of coconut oil or a tablespoon of ghee, just eating it straight off the spoon, this does wonders to kill cravings. Even a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in water. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I've been on a major apple cider vinegar kick for the past few months. It has so many benefits. I have a full video on it, which I'll link above. But yeah, just a tablespoon of fat, even making something like a tea, that can help as well, and just kind of like break the habit and replace it with a new one. The key is to be consistent with your new habit so that it actually replaces your old one. But honestly, the tablespoon of coconut oil or ghee does wonders to kill cravings. Okami asked, how long does it take to reverse insulin resistance? Now, this question doesn't really have a black and white answer. The longer you have insulin resistance and the further it's progressed, the longer it's going to take to reverse. And it also depends how strict you are being in the actions you're taking to reverse it. So for example, doing a pretty extreme fasting protocol is going to reverse insulin resistance quicker than just doing daily intermittent fasting. But obviously that's a lot more difficult. So that's not to say one is better than the other. It's just about what you can stick to. To answer your question, it can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years. It really just depends on the individual. But there are certain things you can look out for to indicate that your insulin resistance is improving. I actually think I have a whole video on signs that it's improving, which I'll link above so I don't have to go too over that. So that might help you because there are non-scale victories, as they're called, that can indicate your health is improving despite you maybe not losing any weight or losing weight slowly. And these can be really motivating because I know when the scale's going slow or not moving at all, that is the worst feeling. That's so discouraging. But weight loss will come if you address your insulin resistance and work towards being more insulin sensitive. Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗢 asked, how do you achieve not missing normal food and when? Okay, I swear I can read. That sentence was just a bit, had a few typos in it, so it's not me, it's him. Well, first off, I think you need to reframe what is normal food. I know that most people out there see processed food, see fast food, see junk food as totally normal, and that's what most people eat. But are these foods really normal? I think focusing on how you feel when you eat whole foods, when you eat good protein, when you eat quality fat, how much better you feel versus when you eat processed food, this can be really encouraging and help you to make that mindset shift. The other thing I will say is you don't have to give up junk food and whatever high carb food forever. Getting healthy is about making your changes sustainable so you can stick to them. So I used to, when I first started my health journey, be really strict about what I ate. I would get so much anxiety about eating out somewhere or eating at a friend's house and them using pasta sauce that had added sugar and whatnot. And the way I look at and eat now is when I'm eating at home, most of the time I'm eating all whole foods, I'm eating low carb, I'm eating high fat. I eat fantastic when I'm at home. When I eat out at a friend's or a restaurant or even when I'm away, then I give myself a little bit more leniency. I try to focus on whole foods as much as I can, but I mean, if I'm going out for like Chinese food or something like that where there's a lot of breaded things and things I just normally wouldn't eat, I cut myself some slack. I try to make the best choices I can, but I know that if I'm there stressing over this ingredient or that ingredient, I'm just completely defeating the purpose of eating out with friends. I'm not enjoying myself, I'm stressing out. And at the end of the day, what we're striving for is to eat healthier, to improve our health, to live a better life. And stressing out over things like that is counterintuitive, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't view it as you need to cut out normal foods forever and just eat healthy, eat clean. Oh, I hate saying clean eating. I can't believe I just used that word. But you don't have to eat that way forever. Like, it's not black and white. You're either eating healthy or you're not. Make choices meal to meal, and what matters is what you do most of the time, not the minority of the time. And make your food delicious. It doesn't have to be like chicken and broccoli every meal. There are so many resources out there for paleo, keto, carnivore recipes that are so good and so easy. But I think it's more of a mindset shift than anything. And just not viewing the foods you're eating as healthy and healthy being a bad thing. Healthy is a good thing. It's a good thing for your health, obviously, and it's gonna make you feel better, and it can be delicious. So yeah, hope that answered it. Shane asked, what was your reason that you started the carnivore diet? Okay, so if you guys don't know, I think probably at the beginning of 2019, I was first introduced to the carnivore diet and thought it was completely crazy. I think I heard Shawn Baker on Joe Rogan's podcast and I was like, what? This is so insane. At that time, I had been eating keto for a bit, and that's kind of why I was listening in, because it's all sort of the low carb space. I ended up trying it for a week and surprisingly it felt really good. And then a little bit later, I tried it. I was strict carnivore for, I think it was like 6 weeks or something like that. So not just beef, I was eating beef, chicken, like all types of meat. I was eating eggs, I was including dairy. And I learned so much when I was eating carnivore. And at the time I was eating carnivore, there weren't a lot of resources online. Like there was a couple blogs and there was obviously Shawn Baker and a few other people who'd been eating this way for a while. But there were so many questions I had that I couldn't find the answer to, or that were really hard to find the answer to. So I started making a lot of videos on the carnivore diet, trying to address these questions, like, can you have cheese on the carnivore diet? Should you eat only beef, or should you have other types of meat as well? And I think that's when my channel started to really gain some momentum, was when I started posting about the carnivore diet. But what I realized is the carnivore diet is great. I felt really good. I just had no cravings, and yeah, it was just really easy to tell when I was full because I was eating such simple meals. But like I was saying before, it was getting stressful to stick to. I don't want to say I have an active social life because I am such a grandma, but I mean, when I would eat out, it was like, okay, am I going to be that weirdo who's just going to order a steak, who's going to ask it to be cooked in just butter, who's going to ask for no vegetables? You know what I mean? So it just, from my point of view and from my health, yes, I felt really good eating keto, but I do not have any autoimmune conditions. I am not super sensitive to any foods. I am okay with a bit of fiber in my diet. So I started introducing some more plant foods back in, and I felt just as good as I did eating carnivore. So it kind of became this question of, do I stick to the carnivore diet just because this is what I'm kind of being known for, or do I focus more on what is going to be sustainable for me? And yeah, I decided that introducing some more non-carnivore foods into my diet was a better approach for me. Now, I do still heavily focus all of my meals around animal protein, and I find that's when I feel best for a lot of reasons. And I do keep my fiber to a minimum because I find I feel better on low fiber. Doesn't have to be no fiber and low fiber, I feel the same. So the reason I started carnivore was pretty much because I was just curious. And yeah, I get a lot of people who I guess find my carnivore diet videos coming to my channel since I've kind of stopped the carnivore diet, and they'll comment on my more recent videos and be like, why did you quit? So I think I'm going to do a full video kind of explaining that, but it's basically what I said here. I just didn't need to be that strict. I think the carnivore diet is great, especially if you have autoimmune conditions, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, and if you have problems with food addiction and whatnot, then yeah, carnivore is fantastic. And it doesn't have to be forever. It can be for a short period of time. It can be beneficial. And then you can reintroduce some foods back in. But yeah, the reason I started was just out of curiosity. At that time, or I guess before I heard about Shawn Baker, I was eating keto, but I was still trying to eat a wide variety of plant foods. I wasn't having that much protein in terms of like meat and eggs and stuff with my meals. I was trying to have more vegetables and like avocado and stuff. And when I started looking more into it, I realized that I needed more protein. And trying carnivore was really, really eye-opening for me, realizing just how important quality protein is and how I should be basing my meals around that instead of just trying to bulk them up with fiber, if that makes sense. Oh, that was a long-winded answer. I am not good at going through these questions rapid fire, but yeah, I'll do a full video on my thoughts on carnivore now, but like I said, that was the short answer. Logan asked, can you do the carnivore diet if you've had your gallbladder removed? Is it safe? So the gallbladder is where we store bile, which digests fat that we eat. And when you have your gallbladder removed, they tell you to eat low fat because obviously your body isn't storing this bile to use, but your liver is still creating the bile. So it's not that you have to eat low fat forever. I would slowly work your way up to eating more fat because your body will adjust to creating more and creating adequate amounts. If it's not creating adequate amounts, then you're gonna have some digestive problems. You're gonna know where your threshold is, and you can slowly build that up. So yes, I have worked with, and I know lots of people who have had their gallbladder removed and eat a carnivore diet and feel great. There shouldn't be any issue with it. Miss Getchy asked, what is the correct percentage for cholesterol ratio? My doctor says my cholesterol is high. I eat keto mostly. All right, so there are a couple different ratios that are referred to in terms of cholesterol. Most standard doctors will look at your LDL to HDL ratio, but I don't think this is a good indicator of anything really. Even just looking at your LDL alone isn't a strong predictor of your overall health and your disease risk. What you want to look at is your HDL and your triglycerides and the ratio between the two. You want your HDL to be high and you want your triglycerides to be low. When your numbers are like this, that's a sign of insulin sensitivity and good metabolic health. And this is completely independent of what your LDL is doing. If your triglyceride to HDL ratio is good, LDL, it's kind of irrelevant. Now, I have a couple videos going over cholesterol and exactly what you want your numbers to be to indicate good health, so I'll link those above. And I think I have a video specifically on if you have quote-unquote high cholesterol on keto and what to do about it, so yeah, I'll link that one there. All right, Velocity Girl asked, she said, I'm almost embarrassed, but here goes. She said, you know the thing you breathe into and it tells you if you're burning fat mode, etc. We eat keto 24/7, so we already know we're running on fat, right? All right, so what she's referring to is the Lumen Metabolism Tracker, which I've talked about a few times on my main channel. This is a little device that you breathe into and it tells you whether your body is burning mainly fat or carbs for energy. And the idea is it helps you to become more metabolically flexible so you can switch between burning fat and carbs seamlessly. So Velocity Girl is asking, if I'm eating keto 100% of the time, do I need a device like this? Well, the thing is, you can be in carb burn mode without eating any carbohydrates. And that's because your blood sugar can increase for other reasons besides eating carbs. If you do a high intensity workout, for example, your body is going to release and create glucose to fuel that workout. And that might temporarily bump you out of ketosis. Even stress can increase your blood sugar and kick you out of ketosis. So it's not as clear-cut as you're eating keto all the time, so you're 100% only burning fat. There's other factors that can impact it as well. Do I think that everyone needs to use the Lumen device? No, I don't, but I do think it can be beneficial because metabolic flexibility, it's really important. Most people, before they go keto, eating a standard American diet, they are always burning carbs. They are always in carb burn mode, and this is why they have to eat every couple of hours. This is why they're hungry when they first wake up. This is oftentimes why they have cravings and why they're hungry even after eating. Now, when you go keto, that's going to improve your metabolic flexibility because by limiting carbohydrates, you're forcing your body to burn fat. And the longer you do this, the more metabolically flexible you're going to become. Anyways, I don't think everyone needs to use the Lumen device. I do think it is a helpful tool, and especially if you're doing like hard workouts and whatnot, it can help you to figure out if you need to have some carbs before your workout or like just different things like that. I guess the answer to your question is if you're eating keto, you're not 100% all the time going to be in fat burn mode. But yeah, using Lumen in your situation might not be necessary. Sunshine One Days asked, so how do we eat for sports? Do you still skip or cut carbs? Thanks. And I think I had another question that was about what to eat before running, so like endurance exercise. And that's gonna be my question to you, is what type of exercise are you doing? And are you exercising to lose weight? Are you just doing recreational sort of exercise? Are you actually playing a sport competitively? All of these things are going to impact how you should eat and whether or not carbs are necessary. So for any type of endurance exercise, mainstream wisdom is to carb up before your exercise, but actually fat is a more efficient energy source for like long duration, not high intensity exercise. So a lot of people who do like endurance sports will train either fasted or train with fat. And then if they have a big race, they might supplement some carbohydrates. There is someone called 𝗖𝗟𝗜𝗖𝗏 oh no, I don't know which one it is. He is an endurance athlete. He does like ultra marathons and he eats a low carb diet. He was eating carnivore for a while. I don't know if he's still doing that, but that's his strategy, is he trains fasted and using fat. And then for competition, he carbs up. So you can check him out because I've listened to him on a couple podcasts and he has some great advice if you're an endurance athlete. Now, if you are playing a sport that's high intensity, so personally, I play ice hockey. There hasn't been a season since COVID, and that is obviously a fast sport. It's high intensity. You're on the ice, you're sprinting, you're off the ice. And my strategy for that was pretty much the same. I would train burning fat, and then during games, I would have some carbs beforehand and during the intermissions as well. But some people find it's not even necessary. Like there's a lot of athletes who just eat low carb, eat keto, and don't carb up. So it kind of just depends on what your situation is, and trial and error, figure out what works for you. And I think that's actually all of the questions I'm gonna answer today because I've been filming for almost half an hour and I don't wanna make this video too long. If I didn't get to your question, I'm really sorry. I do, if you're a channel member on my main channel, I prioritize all questions from channel members, so that only costs $1 a month. If you want to join, it helps to support me. I'll put the link to that in the description box down below, and that will guarantee I answer your question. I do try to answer as many questions as I can in these Q&As and in videos on my channel and in the comment section, but I obviously cannot get to every single one. I really try my best though. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.